Marco Jacobs Media.
We got John Dobson and Ron now. Robin's got his hand up already. Go for it.
Hi, good evening, Dobbo. Good evening, everyone. Well done, guys. Just perfect start to the new year, Dobbo. Great statement made, 35-0. Got a bonus point as well on a Friday night with a good crowd as well. I think couldn't have started the new year on a better note. As I said, it's a perfect start.
No, it probably is. Also, no injuries at a time when we thin in some areas. Super proud of Rowan and the team because we had a plan. It had to be a slightly different plan to the normal Stormers plan. If you work out how our game model is, so it's be about hard work and intensity, physicality, sticking to a plan. And I'm absolutely super proud and grateful to them because it's a magic performance. Because we sat up, I think I said yesterday, we sat in these press conferences, you ask how are you going to fit Warwick, Damien, Marnie and Sasha into the same team. And then we do this, and that's really credit to these players. So yeah, so it's special. And I think performance like this, I just said to the people of Cape Town, this is a special team to get behind, Hopefully next week come and watch this team because I think there's something really nice brewing.
Dobbo, just the last one as well. Scrummaging, you guys were absolutely excellent tonight. I don't think you guys went once backwards, it was going forward only. So just on that, you must be really chuffed with that scrumming performance.
Yeah, the scrum culture is so important to us, and I think it's a really credit to Shim, Brocky, and Rita. We from this time last year we had guys who heard like Stephen Kitshoff and Frans Maherbe, and now if I'd said to you Ollie Reid and Zach Borth and Bernard Matongo, who was the man of the match there afterwards, it's remarkable the culture of scrumming we do. I mean the Leinster team today was 270 international caps, like 12 or 13 internationals. I don't remember the stat. 13. Yeah, we were 4 internationals and 13 caps, and to us the scrum. Yeah, so back to your point about the scrum. And that's without Tooks, without Ali, without Sazi, without Franga. I'm forgetting somebody, another big prop, but it's remarkable that we got this sort of depth in those youngsters. Ollie Reid was in the right matric, and you see the picture at the end on the stand there, him and his dad hugging, both visibly sobbing. Makes you so proud to be a Stormer, part of the Stormer family.
JP?
Luan, last year defense was a challenge. Spoke about it, we saw it. You back in the mix. Maybe to the people of Cape Town, what does it take to run a defensive system? What is it about? Because we don't always see you smashing and making big hits, but the system, like let's not fool ourselves. This is a Leinster team, one of the best attacking teams in the world. System, keeping the ball, but you guys somehow smothered them. Maybe just you don't have to give but just something. How does it take? What does it take? Because something was working tonight. 35-0 against Leinster.
Yeah, look, well, it's no secret, I'm pretty sure every single team is going to talk like this. Everything starts at the contact point. So I mean, it's a big thing for us. Our forwards in between the 15s to really put in some really big hits for us. It makes our jobs out wide so much easier to pick up numbers. So if any team that's defending wants a slow ruck to defend against, and any team's attacking wants a quick ruck to attack with. So I think credit to the boys in the inside. It starts there, which makes our job so much more easier. So. Like you said, Leinster's got a very sophisticated attack. They've always got one guy trying to go short out the back, trying to catch you out with numbers. So once our forwards are doing a proper job in the middle, us outside backs, they can actually have some accurate communication going inwards, to try and paint some or actually try and tell them actually what we're seeing, who they need to check, and we can actually smother them from there. So credit to the boys. I thought they were really disciplined. Big thing for Leinster is obviously entries into the 22 is penalties. I thought our penalty time was great tonight. We had a crack at it when we need to have a crack. And other times we just remain patient, waited for them to almost hang themselves there.
Dobbo, you spoke about the game model. We could clearly see there's something different. Yeah. Attack was going well. Just on the game model and then your maul. I'm just going to go back to previous conversations because you get a lot of flack. People ask you a lot of questions about your coaching staff and what's happening, but the maul was very dynamic. 2 maul tries against Leinster. Just on that, and then Siabelo's a nutler. The boykie on the wing, man of the match performance a year ago. Would he play rugby again? Is he out of the game? Just some feedback on those things because it's very important that we get this out because something doesn't just work. There's somehow a process.
I let Rion talk to Siabela because salt and pepper. It's but on the maul, I give Rita, because we did stall. So we had a thing called the El Toro, which 2 or 3 years ago, and we scored. I think Rita showed it the other night, didn't he? In 26 games, we scored more tries than 23, and it really worked. Remember, and we've stalled the last 2 years, and we watched our conversion rate at 22 drop, and we watched our mauls, go from 4 out of 10 down to sort of 1 out of 10, 10%. And Rita's done incredibly. He's come up with a new. I won't go into the detail now, but he's come up with a new product. And it was sensational in SVD against the Sharks, and really good tonight. So, and that's just a product of Rita working hard, and we're really, really pleased with Rita.
Everyone interested in Ciabello?
Yeah. Look, guys, I can probably write books about Ciabello. That's not even about rugby. But I think performances. If I think back to our quarterfinal performance against Glasgow, Ciabello was one of the few guys who really stood out for me that game. I didn't play, but I watched next to the side. Tonight, obviously, he was so brave getting to the air. I think my challenge to the team was, can we be relentless for 80 minutes? And I think Ciabello's intensity that he brought to the field was exceptional. A lead out wide wing, sometimes when you play test rugby, you don't get a lot of exposure, don't touch a lot of balls, so it's a lot of dirty work, chasing kicks. But I think the work Ciabello had to put in to get back to where he is, it's exceptional. I don't even think I can sit here and chat to you guys for 2 hours, 3 hours, and I don't think I'll be scratching the surface. Mentally, what he had to go through, the person, the life decisions he made, how to change and how to be a better person, all of that, to be where he is today, So I'm just so happy for him. I'm so proud of him, and hopefully he will still reach some pretty big highs in his career.
Just last question from my side about Simalani fullback. We all expected Warwick Geland, and we expected the youngster, but just on his performance, because has he ever played fullback? Things worked somehow.
I'll stand correction where he has played. It's certainly not with us. He has played 1 or 2.
I actually think at the Bulls he might have had a couple of runs at fullback.
But no, look, Warwick injured. Obviously, Sasha and Damien not here. JC Mars injured. It was the last man standing. And to be honest, he would have started at 13, and so I'm impressed, which is his favourite position. Ruan would have captained us from 12, because Dan hasn't played. We had 4 guys hadn't played a minute today, which is remarkable. Like Netland Fisher and Dan, and so anyway, Wendy was really happy to move to the back for the team, and I thought he did well. I think it's there's nobody like Warwick Geland or those other guys, so it's a learning. We mustn't get too complacent. I think the teams, we've got work to do there in covering backfield. That's why I'm so grateful to see Ciabello for his work ethic. But he did bloody well. He did it for the team. He's a 13, and he did it for the team. It's great.
Listen,
you look quite comfortable speaking to the ref on the field. Were you comfortable? Were you nervous leading up this team, especially against Leinster?
No, I think with guys like Nietz at the front, and obviously he's captained the team before. JD in the lineouts. Dupi next to me there was also captain last year. So I think there was enough leadership around me to actually guide me through, and then obviously we just put some processes in place there. So get the penalty, ask how the forwards are feeling, and then based on that we make that decision. I think the ref was really great tonight. He was accommodating both captains, willing to listen actually, and consider our points that we were making towards him. So we can't complain. Obviously we would have liked for those 2 tries to be allowed in the first half, but once again TMO did a great job to actually pick that up, and I think in the second half actually he picked up a couple for us as well. They didn't get their flag, and we actually got a good result from that as well. So not pretty comfortable, but credit once again. It's not a one-man show. Doing it at 13, you can be pretty isolated away from the scrums. I know Nietis and them were frustrated once or twice there with the scrums. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but once again, when you just chat to the ref and you say, listen, Netling will be chatting to you about the scrums in the front, so please just have a listen to him. So great leaders on the field, which actually makes your jobs a bit easier.
And then your own performance, maybe you can chip in here as well. You had a lengthy injury layoff last season, and you were frustrated by it. But how do you feel about your return and how you did on the board?
Yeah, I think great. Obviously getting through 80 minutes, it's I think your most valuable commodity in the game is to be available. So pretty happy got through game 1. We're just taking it week by week. I actually said in the week after, I'm never going to be the guy that's your flashy stepper. I think one of your biggest strengths in the team is that every guy exactly knows his role and his strengths, and they play according to that. And so I'm pretty happy with my performance for the first game of the season. Obviously, we're looking to build momentum personally and then as a squad as well. So no complaints.
Cool. We got Kieran next.
Ruan, just when that scuffle broke out just before the hour mark, what was the message to the team? Did you have a moment to maybe just realize, is this because of a bit of frustration from Leinster's side?
Yeah, that, and I think obviously that the boys felt, that we were probably getting under their skin, and especially the forwards, they felt that we could have gotten a bit more reward. Like I said, I wasn't exactly sure what was happening in the front. My message just to them was, listen, we're 3 scores up, let's not give the ref a reason to maybe turn against us. The 50-50 calls, he'll probably swing it Leinster's way. Not saying that he would have, we just don't want to give him a reason. So my chat to them was just, listen boys, we're 3 scores up, let's not lose focus, let's not lose our cool, just continue to stick with the plan that we've had, because obviously up until that point it's been working. So if they're getting frustrated, it means that we're doing something right. And I just thought, tell them, listen, I don't want you to back off, just be smarter by the way we act. So once again, like I said, it's credit to the boys who's actually felt they did just that.
And then just before Yuri scored his try, he was stretching. Was that a bit of cramp, or was that a signal for some sort of trick play?
You're joking. It sounds like something that Tiva would do. No. Yuri was cramping. So if you actually see, when Clinton came on, he actually started to kick to touch, because Yuri was, obviously, if you're kicking, he was scared that he's gonna cramp up again. So no, it was just a bit of cramps. Book speeder.
Okay, we'll go John and then Marco.
About a 6-0 at half time. You boys feel you're on top. I know a very narrow scoreline. Leo Cullen called it a stranglehold after half time. Did it feel like that to you? Because it's from the 60th minute, it seemed to you guys raced away.
It's a good question, John, because that's exactly how we felt it. Normally when you get to half time 6-0, first half performance like that, you're frustrated because you reckon that. I don't think the maul try should have been overturned, because I think they were very clever the way they pulled Andre around. But I was frustrated that you're normally frustrated that you're not 20 up, because I think such was our dominance, certainly territorially. But actually, there was a feeling around they're going to break. And it wasn't that sort of sap yourselves. It wasn't, was it? The guys were absolutely confident. So it felt like this is the process. And Nielsen was actually speaking at half time to the forwards. The guy shot the first blow of hitting the Rockets, the 100th blow. So that was the conversation.
Sorry, did you really believe that you would keep them to 0? Because it was and then towards the end, where you guys like the defense shaped in
Yeah, look, I think obviously the 2 yellow cards helped us. Definitely, especially with Leinster, like they're trying to get numbers around the ball, so 2 less numbers makes our decisions a bit easier on defense. So look, it's not every day that you keep Leinster to a 0. So Norman, we already reminded Norman about the donuts on Monday. But no, look, like I said, it's they really are quality outfit. I said to the team, like, don't underestimate how good of a win this is. So very happy with the 0. Obviously, we're trying to keep teams to 0. So any day we can achieve that, take that.
Cool, Marco.
Double. The Leinster coach, he spoke a little bit about, he was actually a lot at a loss for words for this performance by Leinster, and he spoke a little bit about its early doors and maybe the first game. On the other side of that is the Stormers' this performance tonight. Are you a little bit perhaps ahead of the curve in terms of what you would have thought the first game would be?
Definitely, I didn't expect that. Some broke bookmakers. None of us said that. But I thought there might be. They put a really strong team out. Now we all know that there are 14 British and Irish Lions missing, and they're probably the most exceptional team in the world to be able. That's the model, is to be able to have 2 teams. But that's it. There are 270, factually 270 international caps out there, and we knew this would be a really, it was going to be a very, very tough game. But some of me did think maybe we saw the game against Cardiff, which is their friendly, and then they're coming to us, and maybe they've got to find their feet and see where they are. But we absolutely no different. So, as I said, Dan Dup hasn't played, Evans played a half, Nittling hasn't played a scrum, hasn't taken. I can name guys on just 20 or 30 minutes. That Sharks game we made 13 changes at half time. It was unrecognisable. So we did get a few guys. Had a great comeback for him against the Boland game. So we didn't know where we were either. But the short answer, I didn't expect that. So I do, of course, there's some latitude for Leinster that they always know they're going to be the sharp end of the competition. They're not going to be judged on game 1. they still put out a really strong team. And I thought they were we felt a bit like, I felt in the first half, to John's point, the way they were sort of trying to frustrate us, you know, at the scrum, the way they were defending the mauls, they were almost trying to manage. You could see what they're trying to do. Typical Leinster: grind you, be efficient, wait for us to make a mistake, get the entry of a penalty, get the maul, something 6-7. You know what I mean? And they were really trying to manage us, and I thought that's credit to us that we sort of battered them so much.
But it's just in terms of all of that, in terms of the belief for this Stormer side, knowing that you can have performances like this, does that stand you in good stead going forward into the season?
It's massive, because to me there's not one moment in that game where I think, oh, we were lucky, or there was a flash, or one of those crazy bits of, you know, Sasha or Marnie magic that we, you know, you just think Warwick magic, you think, where did that come from? And we take the credit in the coach's box, you know. I thought that was around intensity, sticking to a plan, discipline, leadership. So, you know, we can, those qualities that we showed are something we can please. Everyone just spoke about in the change room now. Every week, you know, I can't please speak to a Warwick offload that's going like that. Sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. But this was a lot about process, and that's what we can really. So I think this is a base for us, you know, and that's why I say, come and people can't touch and come watch us next, because this team, without those players, without any some magic, without the ball bouncing for us tonight, just won this game like this, you know. So,
and Dobber, just on that as well, next week you play Ospreys. Now, the last time Ospreys came here,
They beat us.
I was about to say, that's probably the worst performance we've seen in 4 years. So,
100%.
sort of, is that motivation going for next week? Like, you have to unfinished business, you've got to make a time.
We've got our last 3 games, Ospreys are draw, lost, or draw, loss.
We're only beaten on the first season.
Yeah, so it's pretty poor. So no, that's Ospreys defeat at home goes down as one of our lowest points. Dobson and 9 as we leave the stadium.
So remember that.
Sorry, I'll be up for this game.